moi, it is Joinen and Troom Troom.
Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Not true, actually. Fairly recently, I played bingo with one of my own old YouTube videos in which I watched Troom Troom. But I did mention at the end of that video that one of the Troom Troom actors has sort of made like a tell-all. They've come forward and explained what it was like. I haven't really watched any of it. I figure it's something we've got to go through together. Her name is Tracy. She worked at Troom Troom. She was one of the actors at Troom Troom. I think what made Troom Troom so interesting is that it just felt like a fever dream. It didn't feel like something that was real. And so getting a bit of an insight into it is kind of crazy. I'm very intrigued.
Hey guys, I want to tell you some truth about Troom Troom. You're all thinking that I'm an NPC, but I'm actually not. I'm an alien. And finally, I can show you my real face. My real name is not Jessica or Tracy. My real name is...
Okay. So, look. Maybe we're going to take some of this with a grain of salt. Clearly, to work at Troom Troom, you've got to have a little bit of a sense of humor. I don't think it would be possible to be an actor at Troom Troom if you took yourself way too seriously. So this is somewhat expected, but I think at some point people in the comments were like, okay, but can you actually tell us? Can you actually tell us what was going on?
Welcome to part 2 of my 7-part series, What Do You Need to Know About Troom Troom?
She said part 2. If I go to the one...
I grew my hair from this.
That doesn't seem like part 1. I actually don't know where part 1 is.
I used to be a real person 5 years ago, before Troom Troom, and then they told me if you want to be a part of Troom Troom, you need to stop poop and peep. I mean pee. I stopped pooping and peeping. And yeah, and I became part
Is this part 1?
And then they told me that I need to stop breathe.
In order to be an actor in Troom Troom, you need to stop pooping and you need to stop peeping and then breathing. I think maybe part 1 is gone, but there's 7 parts. What do we need to know? She'd be like, oh yeah, I joined Troom Troom and it was crazy. That's probably part 1, unless that's part 1. I don't know. Let's just go to part 2.
Welcome to part 2 of my 7-part series, What Do You Need to Know About Troom Troom?
Okay.
At the audition, I was greeted by a redhead. I actually trained with her, and honestly, she was amazing.
You trained with Redhead? You met Redhead in the flesh? That's crazy. What's wild to me about that is that she's calling her Redhead. I suppose maybe Redhead doesn't want her identity out there. But I just love this idea that it's like this secret underground club and you're not allowed to refer to each other by your real names. You enter it like it's some cult and it's like, for henceforth, you will be known only as Redhead.
She's a really lovely person. This was the first time I've ever appeared on video. I remember watching it back and thinking, oh my god, I actually look good.
Okay.
And you know why? Because the Troom Troom camera crew was incredible. I swear, even when I looked at total mess, they still made us look adorable. Somehow we looked 15 on camera.
Yeah, crickets for that one. Crickets for that joke. Very important lore. It does make me think that maybe we didn't miss much by part 1, because in part 2, we have learnt that the camera crew is good. So this tell-all is already blowing the doors wide open. I'm already shocked, and I feel like we have spent some valuable time together, learning so important stuff.
There is one more thing I forgot to mention, guys. I don't know how to say it right. So the people from Troom Troom hate me, specifically the people in charge of that project. It started back in 2020 when I began building my own social media and later joined a TikTok house in Ukraine. They believe.
Joined a TikTok house in Ukraine? I guess, what, is Troom Troom like its own content house? Do you have to live in the Troom Troom house? And they've got beef with the other Ukrainian content houses? It's like warring factions. You're with us or you're against us. Which is it?
It's unacceptable to talk about Troom Troom. Like, you're not allowed to talk about it because it's not yours. That's why most actors stay silent. But I don't agree. If you were part of something big and beautiful, you have every right to talk about it and be proud.
Big and beautiful? Troom Troom, I mean, sure, it was big. It was a big cultural moment, that's for sure. Yeah, the comments talking about not Troom Troom having Fight Club rules. First rule about Troom Troom is you don't talk about Troom Troom. Unless you're a commentary/reaction channel, then you only talk about Troom Troom. And you can try to talk about other things, but it's never going to perform as well. This is your life now. You watch psychedelics-inspired kids content.
Still, I don't want to end up in jail or be sued for claiming the project, so I'm just being honest and careful.
Oh, that was it. Okay. In other words, she's not allowed to say anything. But that was part 2 of 7 of her saying things. Well, you've got me intrigued.
Welcome to part 3 of my 7-part series, What You Need to Know About. It's the audition.
Oh,
Okay,
we're not
I'm just
saying
kidding.
it.
How much were you paid? Unfortunately, I can't tell you. Like I've said, it's not my project. I was just acting in it. Look at
Yeah.
my bottle.
Okay.
But let's play a little game.
Cool
Let's
bottle.
say you, yes, you, are allegedly an actor on a super popular channel called
Okay.
Yuppie. You're
All right. We're talking theoretically here. We can't talk about Troom Troom, but we can talk about Yuppie? I don't know what she said. That's all right. Okay. No. All good. We don't talk about Fight Club, but we can talk about Flight Club, where we do some secret underground flying. I'm following.
Your schedule is full-time Monday to Friday, weekends day off. At the end of the month, you
Okay.
allegedly get your paycheck. Here's the
Yep.
question. Can you afford to buy a Sony Alpha 7CR full-frame interchangeable lens hybrid camera? No.
Sony A7R? Oh, that's a bit more than an A7C II. I'm shooting on the C2. I mean, it's quite a bit of money. It's quite a bit of an investment. The only reason I can afford it is because it's my job, but presumably you don't have to pay for the camera that films you on the not Troom Troom set. So, I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to justify it. Not with the money I earn. So I guess that's putting it in a ballpark.
Okay, can you afford to buy
No.
a diesel denim rhinestone shoulder bag? Still no. But can you
I mean, those things, it just seems like priorities. Like, I've said on this channel countless times before, anyone can afford Gucci slides. Well, not anyone. Gucci slides are easily affordable if you just have 0 priorities. If you don't care about groceries for the month, you can go buy Gucci slides. So, like, at what point do you cross the line where you are earning enough to buy Gucci slides? That just depends on you.
afford to buy Electro Cruiser Go step over electric bike from REI? Yes! Baby, I hope you're smart. See you in part 4.
Oh, how much the bike was. Okay, she's saying... She gave us the number. Someone in the comments said... Actually, the numbers are all over the place. I don't know. The bike's like $1,000. This is also kind of all relative. I don't know what the Ukraine's economy is like. I don't know how far $1,000 gets you in the Ukraine. Also, I'm not super invested in the question of how much Troom Troom actors get paid. Obviously, if they're underpaid, that's a bad thing. And maybe that's what she is saying. I'm just not exactly sure. We got too many steps deep into the hypothetical for me to be sure what it is she's trying to say.
Welcome to part 4 of my 7-part series, What You Need to Know About... Let's talk about language.
Troom Troom.
Yeah, nobody speaks English. Or even if they do, it's like maybe 1%. I don't even know how we studied English in school for 11 years. 11, guys. And still end up not speaking it. Wow.
That's fair. I mean, that's a lot of schools, right? I studied languages in school, and I feel like I learned like 3 words. So, it's not just you.
So I just want to say I'm sorry I couldn't reach out to you earlier. I didn't speak any English. I only started learning it 3 years ago.
Oh, dang.
Please don't be mad.
Wait, that's sick. You got 3 years of English experience, and that's how you're talking? That's good English. For 3 years. The way she phrased that, though, it makes it feel like she's been studying English for the past 3 years just so that she can tell us about Troom Troom. She's like, I've been trying. I've been wanting to tell you this whole time. I've been studying for 3 years. I think now I'm finally ready to tell all. To say that I could afford an electric bike.
At the others either. Even if they wanted to speak to an English-speaking audience, they wouldn't able to. They literally couldn't. But I want to say thank you so much for all the compliments you've been giving me. I've got so many sweet comments thanks to you guys. You building my confidence 100%. The series is almost over, so
hold on, the series is almost over. That was part 4? The part 4 was no one speaks English. Okay. I feel like I might have figured as much. But good to know. Part 5? Is she like backloading the juicy goss? Gonna put the most important stuff at the very end?
welcome to part 5 of my 7-part series. What do you need to know about?
What the girl, you ain't saying shit. This better be spicy or I'm clicking off.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, bestie. Let me gently destroy everything you believed as a kid. The period pad commercial.
I wasn't a kid. But I understand the confusion, because why was I watching it? What was I doing there?
Commercial. They wanted me to film a DIY video where I put pets into pencil cases and other random stuff. Nothing against period products, but that idea felt kinda weird to me, so I said no. Later, I find out they actually wanted to fire me for refusing.
What? Oh, dang.
But somehow they decided to let me stay.
Okay.
The hair drum.
Okay, that was a little bit of goss. She didn't want to do the sneaking period stuff into, I don't know where. It's probably something dumb. Sneaking period products onto a plane. Because it's always just somewhere where you're just allowed to take things. She said no and they wanted to fire her, but they didn't. So it was almost a very dodgy moment.
We made a video about my afro hair for their channel. Then I posted my own video on my brand new account talking about being black in USSR, including my hair journey. They called me in and told me that I couldn't post that. They said it was their idea. I was like...
You're not allowed to talk about your hair. That's ours. All right, that's dumb. That's kind of crazy. No. Listen, your hair is our thing. You can't talk about your hair.
How it can be your idea when I was the one who taught you everything about afro hair? Let's be for real. You didn't even know afro hair existed. Damn, I'm getting mad when I'm talking about it.
I mean, that's fair. The craziest thing to me about that is that Troom Troom seems to think that they're somehow educational. It would explain a lot, but I kind of thought, maybe naively, that Troom Troom was in on the bit, that they were teaching kids things, but they didn't actually think they were teaching kids things. Do they actually think that they were teaching people about afro hair and she couldn't post her video because they've got the claim to that little bit of education? Troom Troom, no one was learning anything. No. Not a single thing.
Welcome to part 6 of my 7-part series, What You Need to Know About. You flooded me with comments saying you're only here for the gossip, little troublemakers. Well, same here. Let's keep it going. Woo!
Okay.
The red friend. When I left, everything seemed fine. They told me I could even come back if social media didn't work out for me. I even brought cake for a goodbye party. Later, I find out they were gossiping about me being a nanny, saying I was broke, working for $50, probably homeless. Then it hit me. I had coffee with 2 girls from the project and I told them I got a nanny job at the kindergarten. A kindergarten was thinking about offering me to host kids parties there for $50. I didn't even accept it. I just mentioned.
Hey, you don't have to explain it to us. That's fine. It's fine. We don't care whether you accepted a $50 job or not. We're not the ones gossiping about it. You don't need to explain anything to us. If you don't want to work at Troom Troom, we say, okay. But I see where you're coming from. That was a bit of a toxic work culture, is what you're getting at.
Mention it. And suddenly, Troom Troom knew everything, twisting it into, she's already working for $50. She's struggling. She's broke. She's stealing food from old people. Okay, no one said that part, but still, they were really happy for me being broke. But now look what.
Because Troom Troom supplies the goods. You either make money working for a Troom Troom or you don't make money at all. Everybody knows that. I mean, I did. Don't count. Don't count. Don't even try to count. how many Troom Troom videos I made.
What I have. I can afford a diesel bag.
Okay.
Okay, period. You cannot.
I don't know the going rate of a diesel bag. This seems to be an ongoing yardstick for financial stability, but it doesn't mean anything to me. But good. It seems like a good thing. All right, part 7. And then I think she's got some like follow-up parts. It actually looks like she reacted to Jarvis Johnson's video too. And so I kind of want to see what she had to say about that.
Welcome to part 7 of my 7-part series, What You Need to Know About. By the way, guys,
every time I think rolling down in the deep end.
Name? What's my name? On the count of 1, 2,
Tracy.
3. Say my name. Say my name. It's Tracy.
Okay.
In Ukraine, it's spelled Treisi. So don't get confused. Same name, just different letters. Now let's talk about.
I'm following.
When I became more known in Ukraine on TV, working with celebrities. Yes. It wasn't easy for them to accept. They say I used the project for my own gain. Well. Yes, of course I did. Guys, let's be honest. I wasn't the most popular girl there. Redhead,
I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. Which girls were the popular ones on Troom Troom? I don't know. The blue-eyed girl? I don't know. I mean, I wasn't that invested. Maybe the target audience was.
Unicorn, Dolly, other girls.
Dolly.
They were on
Dolly?
top. Me? I think I was like 5th or 6th in terms of popularity, somewhere around there. What I'm trying to say, technically no one's stopping them.
That's crazy that you have a ranking. That you're like, if we're being real, I think I was number 5 or 6. I don't know. Do other people think about that? Or is that just like a inside the Troom Troom space? Is that like a work culture thing? Like you get, a bonus if your ranking increases.
From making videos like mine. So when it comes to Troom Troom, I wasn't the most popular one there. I think some of the other girls actually had more chances to blow up on Troom Troom,
I see what you're saying. So the accusation was that you used Troom Troom as a stepping stone, which you mean to tell me that Troom Troom wasn't your end game? That's not what this whole life on planet Earth is for. You didn't finally make it into Troom Troom and go, this is it. I've done it. I have succeeded in the entertainment industry, and I shall accept no further work.
I know you've asked me a million questions, but I cannot answer to all of them. If 7 parts weren't enough, head to my YouTube. That's where we can talk.
Oh, dang. You gotta follow the lead. She did talk about it more right here in the TikTok, though.
I farted on set. Welcome to my 3 extra episodes about... You guys left me comments saying I was being mean and suddenly stopped spilling the tea. I heard you, so now I'm making 3 extra episodes that will...
Is this one just about farting on set, though? Is that the...
Drive you crazy. Yes, I farted during filming. Yes, I'm a human being.
Okay. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Cool. I mean, yeah. Spill the tea. Spill the tea. That's crazy. But I just want to put the feelers out there for what other type of follow-ups in this 3-part series we might have on the table.
We had a really angry cameraman. It felt like we weren't filming a kids' entertainment channel. It felt like we were shooting a documentary about criminals. And I was one of them. He was always in such a gloomy mood. Some actresses even cried because of him. When he filmed, his face looked like this. I'll never forget when I played the role of an artist. There was a scene where I was supposed to transform with my eyes closed. I thought we were already rolling. So I started acting full drama mode. Then I opened my eyes and I realized he hadn't been filming. He was just standing there watching me like I'd lost my mind. But he just didn't know what kind of character I was. Queen never cry. One time I yelled at him and said, "Bro, we're filming a kids channel. What's with your face?" Now I realize...
Wait, that was the whole anecdote? Hold on. The anecdote was that he's an angry man. One time she went to act and he wasn't recording yet. Okay. But the next anecdote, that's the juicy one?
realized maybe he was depressed. Maybe he dreamed of making Netflix-style films, and instead he had to film me doing this.
No one would think such a thing. Troom Troom is the end goal. We established this.
If it were now, I would have acted differently. So I want to speak to him directly right now. Поэтому, если ты видишь это видео, приезжай в Лос-Анджелес. Будем снимать вместе.
Oh, I thought she was like gonna be like 1v1 me, bro. What is she saying? Come.
И потом, может быть, по итогу попадем на Netflix. Приезжай, я тебе все покажу.
What? What? What was that call out? I don't even understand. I don't even understand what that was about. Part 3? Then I want to check out the Jarvis thing.
Let's end this story on a good note. What was actually good? Guys, we had every kind of ice cream, cookies, candy, and snacks you could imagine. It was a sugar paradise. That's why I gained so much weight, because in between takes, I was constantly eating fruits, sweets, snacks, you name it. We
Not
also
fruits.
had some crazy parties when we nailed the video. But I know you don't care about the good stuff. So here's something bad.
Hold on. A little bit interesting. I do think there's a bit of goss there. Crazy parties when you nail a video. You telling me you finish up 18 ways to sneak candy into a movie theater and then you just party. Another one done! Dusted! Woo! Popping bottles.
Something bad I did. Every time they gave me props to use in a scene, I broke them. I know! I don't know why, my hands just didn't work right. I kept breaking everything.
I am feeling like a lot of this tea is decaf. Like, there's tea. You're not gonna say that the decaf tea is not tea, but it doesn't pack the punch you were expecting. There was a couple things there, a couple moments where it seemed like, okay, yeah, didn't sound great. And to be honest, I don't think any of us really thought it would be great. But I think that's what makes it feel a little bit underwhelming. Is because I think what we had built up in our minds was that Troom Troom was way worse than what you're spelling it out to be. It just seemed so bizarre that like we were sure there was some sort of like cult behavior. We were expecting, you know, goats' heads, lots of candles, rituals, you know, rituals on the daily, something along these lines. And we got kind of angry cameraman. And you don't talk about Troom Troom. What did she say about Jarvis's video? I haven't watched Jarvis's video because I wanted to kind of go into it with my own initial reactions.
Welcome back to my channel, and today's topic is Jarvis Johnson's reaction on my videos.
Oh!
Recently, a popular YouTuber named Jarvis Johnson reacted to my videos about Troom Troom. Of course, I watched it and I definitely have something to say. Hi, I'm the Troom Troom girl, and I finally speak English.
I do not know what she meant by this, by this sound.
Hell no, man. What the
Like, are we supposed to be upset that she's speaking English? That she speaks?
I completely ignored the bonus jokes. I just kind of thought, I don't know, it's probably some people's thing.
Speaking? I don't know. I'm just gonna let her speak.
In my script, the idea was I show up like, hey, I'm the Troom Troom girl. But at this point, no one's been waiting for me. No one cares that I now speak English. So it's like walking up to a random group saying, hey, remember me? And they're like, hell no. That was the whole joke. How did I end up in Troom Troom? Well, fun fact,
Oh, we got the explanation of the joke. Jarvis. Just like, do I need to spell it out for you, Jarvis? Let me tell you. A joke is like a frog. You dissect it, and it's dead.
used to study to be a singer.
Alright, so this person was...
Okay, I didn't see that part. I think that must have been in the part 1 video that it doesn't seem like it's on TikTok anymore.
Raised in the Church of Troom Troom, so I don't want to go too hard on their comedic choices, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes sense. It kind of checks out that a Troom Troom actor is gonna be a little bit left field.
they're very XD random Troom Troom style.
Alright, he said this person was raised in the Church of Troom Troom. And by this person, he means me.
Well, Well, I mean, we didn't work at Troom Troom. He didn't. You are the one that's talking about it. You were the one. But I guess the whole point is that she wants to push back. She's like, no. Look, I worked there. Look, we all got to make our money somehow. I am not Troom Troom. I am Tracy.
Oh, Jarvis.
Dang.
Jarvis.
Oh, dang.
Oh, Jarvis. You really don't want to cross this line. I think it's time I give my Uncle Igor a call. Since you're so into churches, maybe we will help you join one.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What you said doesn't sound so threatening, but you said it in such a threatening way. Honestly, the bit was kind of funny at the end there. I don't get it. But maybe she's also a bit confused. You know? I think there's just a bit of like a miscommunication thing happening here. I think Jarvis is just saying, look, you worked at Troom Troom. You're gonna have some types of jokes that aren't necessarily in my wheelhouse. Wheelhouse? And then she's like, you said what? You said what about me?
Maybe we will help you join one. If you don't get Eastern European humor, that's fine, but this has nothing to do with Troom Troom. I get that. In your perception and some of your audience perception, there's some made-up country called Troom Troom, where they grow little Troom Troom people. But as I said, I'm half Ukrainian, so maybe Eastern European humor just isn't your thing.
So it's a Ukrainian humor thing. Wait, hold on. If we're gonna take that as truth, are we saying that Jarvis is kind of putting the two together? Her humor and Troom Troom's humor? But what she's saying is, I don't have Troom Troom humor. Troom Troom has Eastern European humor. Maybe all along, we were just fascinated by Eastern Europe. Maybe Troom Troom was just a cultural experience. I mean, maybe.
Okay, she was studying to be a singer. She was showing this woman who was peeling potatoes on a farm, I guess, while singing Shine Bright Like a Diamond, the Rihanna song, with super auto-tune on.
I didn't see this
part. I realized it was a deep fake video of Rihanna peeling potatoes, and I don't know why she was peeling potatoes.
I wanted to be a singer, right? So I
So, potatoes. Natural step. I just love that that's how she starts the response. Trust me, it leads there. It leads to potatoes.
created a joke like, what if Rihanna was from Eastern Europe? So she'll be singing while peeling potatoes. Because we eat a lot of potatoes. Never mind. Hey, they're looking for a black...
It's Jarvis. It's another Eastern European joke. We're not gonna get the joke.
Girl. Yes, you heard that right. A black girl.
Okay, cultural differences around how color is referred to. And I don't know what her intended audience of this is. She feels like other people may think this is like derogatory to be called black.
Right. Okay, I didn't see this part either. This must have been in part 1.
In America, it's not.
Guys, to be honest, I actually regret the way I said that because...
Okay, the video just ended. But that makes sense then as to why part 1 isn't up anymore. There must have been a lot of confusion around it. I don't know. I feel like maybe at the end, what we ended up with was a little bit of a nothing burger. It is interesting. It is interesting to look at a Troom Troom actor and actually just maybe for once in our lives consider that it's a real person and there's a life beyond Troom Troom. I know I found mine. It just happens to be Gacha Life Bingo, but hey, life comes in phases. Weird children's content phases. But anyway, to all the Troom Troom actors of past and present, I don't even know. Are they still going, or are they doing that thing where they just recycle old videos? I wish you well, and I pray that you never have to use hot glue again. I'll see you guys in the next one.